Let's talk about customizing Twitter for a second, okay? Twitter's a different kind of animal simply because of the fact that it's just a big image. There is no fun HTML, there is no application, there is no anything else. Twitter is just Twitter is just Twitter. And so in Twitter, and I'll log in to my Twitter account to show you here. Actually, you know what? Let's just go be fun. Let's create a new account just so we can do that. So full name, my name, oh, you know what? I don't want to do this either because I'll have to use an email address, and I'm not tying a fake Twitter account to my email address. So I'll just log in as me. There we go. Okay, so I'm logged in to my Twitter account. They've got the new activity feed, which annoys me to death, but that's okay. Inside of Twitter, you have a profile section, and so here's my profile section. And so inside of your profile section, you can click this little edit button right here. Okay? And this is where you manage your Twitter profile. Again, you need to find a square avatar. Twitter uses squares. All right? And do me a favor, don't be a jerk and use an animated GIF as your Twitter avatar. I will unfollow you in a heartbeat because that is the most annoying junk I've ever seen in my life. Okay? If you're using an animated GIF, I don't like you. And so, not really. I do like you, but I'm not gonna follow you. And so, find something that's square. It tells you here it needs to be a maximum size of 700K. So generally, you know, if you do about 400 by 400, 500 by 500, you're within that range. Okay? My suggestion here is to fill out this information as good as you can. All right? I'm actually lacking because my bio is so short. But I chose just to brand myself as designer, trainer, geek. People recognize that, from around the web, and that's okay. All right, name, where you're from, website address. That's one of the most important things. Always selling, always selling. All right, that's an upsell to my website, theoretically. Okay. Also here, you know, bio information, whatever you want to put. The thing about this is you're limited to 160 characters. That's only 20 characters more than a standard status update. That's not a lot of stuff. All right, so my bio wouldn't even fit in there. So I just put my tagline. All right. You can also, oh, that's funny. Facebook.com seems to be having trouble at the moment. Yeah, tell me about it. But basically, you can link Facebook and Twitter together so that you can cross-post between both. All right, we'll debate the whole cross thing later, but this is the thing you really need to pay attention to, and that's the design. All right, ignore this up here because we're going to be the cool kids in school. Okay, we're not gonna play the template game. All right, change your background image. When you go to change your background image, it's going to drop down like this. All you have to do is find the file, upload it, and you're ready to go. You can tile it, or you can choose just to make it a big honking thing like I did. All right, here's the deal with Twitter, and I'll show you this in the template that I have. Inside of Twitter, all right, you don't have a whole lot of space. You do not have a whole lot of space, okay? And depending on the screen resolution of the person looking at your page, you've got even less space to effectively market to them, all right? Twitter recently, well, not recently, but they went to this big wide design. This wide design doesn't get any smaller as the browser resizes. The only thing that gets smaller is the space on the left and the space on the right. When you're designing Twitter pages, stay to the left. Or in this case, if you're looking at me here, stay to the left. Okay? Stick to the left. You know, if you've ever seen the movie Varsity Blues where the coach is hitting the kid in the face with the whistle saying, stick to the basics, stick to the basics, stick to the left, stick to the left. I'm hitting you in the head with a whistle. Okay? Why do I say that? Well, because if I'm resizing a browser window like this, what's the first thing that gets cut off? The right-hand side, right? The right-hand side is the first thing to get cut off. This is getting cut off too, but that's because it's too big. All right? I'm going to discuss that in just a second. This over here is your safe area. You need to go about 40 to 50 pixels down from the top because this thing, this big bar, does not move your content down. Your content will actually go behind it. Okay? This will actually overlap you, which stinks, but that's what they've done. So you need to go about 40 or 50 pixels down, which means in Photoshop, when you're designing this little mock-up, you need to bring down a line that meets the top of the Twitter window right about there. Okay? Right there is where you should be starting your content. For how much space you get over here, chances are you're going to get anywhere between 100 to 125 pixels of space. Those of you who work in the pixel-based world realize that that is one tiny little area. Okay, but seriously, let's see how small it really is. Let's go into Window and let's choose Info. Inside of the Info panel, I'm just going to read as I drag. Okay, there's 125 right there. 126 actually. See how small that is? Now look, this is at 50%. Let's go blow it up. All right, this is 100%. So you've got about this much space to effectively put something in there. Now you can put stuff all over the background of Twitter, okay? You can put it all over. But the information that you put in there, your website address, your bio, and your picture of yourself or your logo needs to go within that little small confined space. Why? Because you want that to be evident no matter where people are looking at it. So right here, this is an HD screen. This is 12, I believe this is 1280 by 720. So I've exceeded this. People can't read the end of my web address. They can't read the bottom part of my tagline. So what I need to do is I need to go back and I need to rethink that. Now I'm going to probably leave it like this, okay, just because I don't mind it that it gets cut off necessarily. People still equate that with my brand. They still understand that. But I would probably actually only take this part down, the square, the talk bubble. I would take that down a little bit and move it over. And then this right here is fine that it goes off the edge, okay? It's kind of like breaking the text in a magazine cover or something like that. Kind of the same principle, right? And so a lot of different people do this correctly. If you want to go see people that do it right, go look at Gary Vaynerchuk. Go look at his profile. Go look at Chase Jarvis's profile. Go look at Trey Ratcliffe's profile. Go look at any one of these people that do this kind of stuff all the time on social media. They've all got, Jeremy Cowart's got a very good Twitter profile. They have stuff that clutters the whole background. Pictures, logos, whatever it might be, but their main information is flush left. All right, so always stick inside that left side. Now, a lot of people are going to ask how big a Twitter profile should be. Well, in this case, for this document here, I go with about a 1,600 pixel wide document, 1,600 pixels wide, and I try to keep it anywhere between 1,000 to 1,100 pixels tall. Okay, 1,600 wide, 1,100 tall. All right, and so once I create that file, I'll then go in just like this. This looks like Twitter. It's just a bunch of shapes, but it looks like Twitter. And so I'll go in and I'll start putting things into the background, just seeing how they fit. Okay? What you'll also need to do, and you'll notice that I've done this if you ever look at my Twitter profile picture on a big screen, you'll have to go in and tweak your design colors. Because you want this sidebar to be complementary to what's over here. Mine's kind of complementary, not necessarily well, but it's not bad. You also want to make sure that the background color, because even if your thing is 1,600 pixels wide, my monitor at home is way bigger than 1,600 pixels. So you don't want like this light background and then all of a sudden it just cut off to black or blue or something. So you want to, pick a decent color that will just kind of blend into. All right? You can set all these different colors just by clicking, and you'll get a little hex code picker. If you want to, here's the easiest way to control this. Let me get out of here. Go into Photoshop, pick your color in Photoshop however you do it, and then inside of Photoshop, and somebody has really messed with the color picker in here, and I hate that. They've turned off all my good controls in here. Anyway, you can usually pick a hex code out of there. And you can also use other services on the web that allow you to, Adobe Cooler or Color, however you want to say it, is a great one, Kuler. You can select different colors from around the web and build color palettes and stuff. And so you can select a color, put in the hex code, and go from there. You can also, because sometimes these controls down here fail to work. I've changed colors down here before and hit save, and it took me like 10 times to get them to save. So they have this thing called Chameleon over here on the right. It's kind of hidden, but it is there. If you go there and pick your colors, like if you click here and you go into Chameleon, you can actually set up a bunch of other stuff in here, and you can pick your Twitter profile picture or profile colors. If you change it through Chameleon, it works every time, I found out. Okay? All right, so again, We want to make sure we're staying over to the left. We want to make sure all of our pertinent information is within that. Now, what information do we actually put onto this, right? I usually put my identifying mark, my tagline. I used to put my bio information, and I used to put a bunch of links. Some people still do that, but here's why I've stopped doing that. Okay, I have stopped doing that because we live in a mobile world. We live in a mobile world these days where people have iPads, iPhones, BlackBerry Playbooks, Kindles, all that stuff. On any of those devices, do you see my Twitter profile? No, you don't. You do not see this on any of those devices. They have proprietary apps, and even if you go visit this in the browser on any of those devices, they have a mobilized site that doesn't show my background or any of my custom colors. So therefore, I'm putting less importance on what my Twitter background looks like these days simply because I know not that many people are landing here. Okay? I still make it consistent and I still put something there, but it's not as important as it used to be. Used to be people, like 80% of Twitter users use the web interface. I'd be willing to bet now that it's at least that many using mobile devices to do it most of the time. I guarantee it, actually. It's just easier for me to bring out my phone and do a tweet than it is for me to log into twitter.com and do it here.